Welcome to PowerCoat Music. In this presentation today, we're going to talk about the Alesis DM10 custom kit configuration, and we're also going to do a sound demo. Some of the reasons why the Alesis DM10 electronic kits got so big so fast was because they offered great sounds, decent hardware, and overall kit flexibility and customizations, all for a very reasonable price. In this presentation, we're going to review my DM10 electronic kit configuration in detail, and we're going to look at the pros and cons of my DM10 custom setup. Last but not least, we're also going to listen to a sound demo of some of the onboard DM10 kits. Now, I've been playing drums since I was 8 years old, and it started with a year of drum lessons at the Settlement Music School in the Germantown section of Philadelphia back then. I got my first kit like a little more than a year later when I was 9 years old, and it was a three-piece Vespi brand kit, which was a custom kit made by a guy in Jersey back then. And for me, that kit was magic. Like many drummers out there, since my first kit, I have struggled to customize every kit I have ever had down to the last turn of the drum key. This is why, due to a lack of space in my current studio for my acoustic kit setup, being able to customize an electronic kit to my needs and style was paramount. This is one of the primary reasons why the Alesis DM10 kit was purchased for my studio some years ago. Now, I've made a number of changes to it since then, and I'm still getting used to it. Many of our goals are the same when it comes to electronic drum kits. Make them play and sound as close to an acoustic kit as possible, right? I mean, it's pretty common. That's one of the primary ways that we judge them. Sometimes we want them to sound and perform a little bit different based on a requirement, but for the most part, we want them to feel and sound like we're playing an acoustic drum kit. For details about the features and technical specifications of the Alesis DM10 sound module, watch my presentation, Alesis DM10 High Definition Drum Module, Why and How I Use It, on this channel. Let's take a look at my customized Alesis DM10 kit to review my specific setup. The DM10 sound module allowed me to add to and customize my kit in the following ways. My DM10 custom kit consists of two 12-inch crashes, two 14-inch rides, the Alesis Strike Pro hi-hats, that is two 12-inch cymbal clapping hi-hats, a 10-inch snare, an 8-inch bass drum, four 8-inch toms, last but not least, one 10-inch tom. I upgraded all of my toms to Alesis mesh toms, with the exception of the 8-inch tom and the 10-inch tom, which are Alesis real head toms. I upgraded the stock hi-hat controller system to the Alesis Strike Pro hi-hats, which require a hardware hi-hat stand. The hardware consists of the original Alesis compact 4-post stage rack integrated boom cymbal arms for the rides, a crash, the toms, and the DM10 sound module itself. The additional ride cymbal stand, bass drum pedal, hi-hat stand, and stool are all Gibraltar hardware stolen from my now packed away acoustic Tama R-Star 2 kit. I really miss that thing. The snare stand is a second-hand, cheap, no-name snare stand that I've had kind of sitting in the corner for a long time that I just reminded myself I need to replace that. The DM10 sound module's 12 trigger inputs and mixer enables me to configure the basic setup and manage the sounds I need. Let's move on to the hardware mapping to the DM10 sound module. Now, some of you may be curious as to how I wired my custom kit to the DM10's 12 trigger inputs. Well, let's walk through exactly how I did this using 1/4-inch audio cables along with 1/4-inch Y connector cables. And here we are. We start with the first column on the drum machine and the leftmost column in the table above. As you can see, we have a 12-inch crash connected to the top input and our 8-inch mesh bass drum connected to the bottom. Moving to the second column, we have a 14-inch ride connected to the top. Now at the trigger of that cymbal, we have two outputs, which is the ride bell and the actual ride sound. So those are connected to a Y cable that's then connected to a singular input that is here at the top. At the bottom, we have our 10-inch snare connected. Moving on to the third column, we have our 14-inch ride connected to the top. Now that's connected the same way as our first ride. This is our second ride. Again, at the cymbal trigger output, we have an output for the ride bell and then the ride sound that's connected to a Y cable that is then singularly or connected here to the top. And then at the bottom, we have an 8-inch tom mesh connected. Moving to the fourth row of inputs, we have the 12-inch crash connected to the top and the 8-inch mesh connected to the bottom. Moving to the fifth column, we have the 10-inch tom connected to the top and an 8-inch tom mesh connected to the bottom. Moving on to the sixth row here, we have an 8-inch tom connected to the top, the real head, and then we have the top 12-inch hi-hat cymbal connected to the bottom. Now remember, I'm using the Alesis Strike Pro system, so that's the top cymbal of the Alesis Strike Pro, so I could capture that. Now we move on to the seventh and the last input trigger here, which is going to be the hi-hat bass controller. And that's, since I'm using the Alesis Hi-Hat Strike Pros, that's the bottom cymbal here that controls the hi-hat mechanism. Let's move on to the pros and cons of my custom DM10 setup. Let's start with the pros. Overall, my kit works well, with one exception that we'll talk about in the cons. The kit configuration gives me what I need to be productive. The kit configuration transfers well to other kit patches within the DM10 sound module. The kit's pretty easy to modify, which I like, that's important for all of us. The kit's firmware is pretty straightforward and easy to update. The mesh heads feel very good to me. I like those. Those are a big improvement over the real heads. And it makes my playing far more comfortable. Let's talk about the cons. The Alesis Strike Pro hi-hats are clunky. The trigger on these devices are not smooth, and I have to press down on the hi-hat foot pedal extra hard to get them to close and oftentimes stay closed. Now this is the only part of the kit that I don't like, and I occasionally have to recalibrate the hi-hat and tweak it to get it right. This is a work in progress, and again, an issue for me. That's the one downer on my kit. Moving on, sometimes the pads trigger intermittently. The Alesis troubleshooting guide helps to correct this issue, but it does pop up occasionally for some people, and it did for me, and I was able to fix it. One thing that bugs me is there are no third-party sound sets available for this sound module. Originally, the Blue Jay sound library was sold by Alesis for this sound module, and it's no longer available. And I would have loved to have another company kind of step up and maybe make some more sounds for it, but that didn't happen. Last but not least, the real head toms have never been comfortable for me to play. I usually had like a slight wrist pain after playing them over a period of time, and I don't play super hard anymore. I used to, but I don't. So I will replace my last two real head toms with mesh heads when I get the chance. Now let's hear a sound demo of the DM10 drum kits in action. Well, that is a wrap. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up and click the subscribe button on your screen now to join our group. We have new videos coming out every 7 to 10 days, and we would love to have you be a part of our team. Also, leave a comment in the comment section below and let us know what you think about this video. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Spotify. While you're here, listen to some of the music and check out some of the other videos. Let us know what you think about that too. Thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you soon.